What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another week of Confessions from the Closet. This week is a special week. We celebrated. I think it is. Is it not?
What week is this?
This week is our anniversary week.
Oh,
Yeah.
that. I didn't know this.
Yes, of course. We celebrated our 8-year wedding anniversary, which means we've been together in a total of 8 years and 3 months because we only dated 3 months. But I think it's a really big deal.
Yes.
I don't know. I've heard
Happy anniversary week, honey.
Happy anniversary. Yeah, Maya's like, it was already your anniversary. I'm like, it's a whole week, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's up, y'all? My name's Leticia, and you're listening to Confessions from the Closet, a podcast all about vulnerability and overcoming. It's time we get ourselves unstuck from these boxes and these closets that we've allowed ourselves to be trapped in. We're so much bigger than these boxes we've been in. It's time we go deep, y'all.
It's a vibe.
We should get 2 weeks, but
life doesn't work that way.
no.
And Christmas is right around the corner. Yeah, no, because I remember hearing growing up, like 7 years, if you make it past 7 years, and then there's like another year. Yeah, 7 years is the year like that everyone falls apart. You either make it or you don't. And I feel like we were good at 7 years.
Yeah.
Like we were stronger than ever. And then, now we're at 8 years.
7 year, the COVID year.
Yes. It was the end of COVID. Or the end of it. Has it even ended?
No.
Yeah. Well, COVID that year was way less hard than this year as far as the crap we've had to go through. Yeah. So anyways, if you're sticking around
Here we are
to listen to this episode, yeah, we're going to talk about our wedding and what a crazy adventure that was in itself. What we've learned in 8 years. There's a couple other things I've written down. Just like a TikTok I saw this week about someone talking about a scripture that used to bother me. And it was seen in a new perspective. And so I've really been thinking about it. And I was like, that would be a good thing to share. Because I wonder how many other LGBTQ people have felt gross about that verse as well. And how it's been used towards us. So, and I don't even think it's a clobber passage. I'm pretty sure it's not. So, anyways, yeah. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for always coming back. Yeah, we appreciate it. I think I appreciate it more than anything because some days it's really hard to get down here. And I say down here because we film in our basement. And film because life is busy. And it's holiday season, and we've had a lot of company. And then Apollo's, he doesn't do well with so much activities. I think he just doesn't bounce back as fast. So yeah, sometimes getting down here is really hard. So I appreciate when people come back and stay faithful to us. And yeah, anyways, 8 years of marriage. We did it. It feels longer.
Yeah.
Feels longer, and yet it feels like, how has it been 8 years?
Yeah, both for sure.
Which is weird. But I guess we could start by talking about our wedding, because that was like the first adventure. And also when we got engaged, because yes, we did get engaged super fast. We did not have all the support we have now from our family.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who are going through that season right now, it's like my dad doesn't support us, because that's mostly where we got it from, was from the dads.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have support. Do you mind talking about when you were telling your dad that you got engaged to me? Do you remember that night? I know you remember that night. I asked that question because I know, but will you talk about it? I know he doesn't listen to this.
Well,
this was right before we left too. He didn't live here. He still lived in Houston.
I said that I was getting married, and
we were at Jessica's
I invited
house.
him.
I don't think you invited him.
You sure?
You might have. I don't know.
I did. That's what I asked him.
It was a very emotional phone call.
If I had his blessing, or we're going to go to New York, if he would come. Pretty sure I asked him to walk me down the aisle to be a part of it.
You might have.
Yeah. And he told me no.
He told you no and like he didn't accept it or something, right?
Yes, no, and I don't accept it. I don't agree with that lifestyle. I love you, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't even remember if I asked my dad to come. I kind of just assumed he wouldn't. I might have asked
Well, I asked him for your dad for permission.
Yeah, you did ask my dad.
Yeah.
Like the day you met him.
Yeah.
Because neither of our dads lived here at the time.
And I asked him to come. I invited him.
Yeah. I think my dad would come now.
Yeah.
Because he loves you. He's told me he would choose Madi over me if we got a divorce. He said it to my sister, I think, because we actually
take care of him.
Yeah. You love him well. And he loves you. But
yeah, that night was horrible.
Back then, when Madi had to ask my dad, like, it was super uncomfortable. Even when I don't even know if we've talked about this, when I came out to my dad and said, I didn't really come out to him. I just told him I was going to get married, that I was going to buy you a ring. And I worked for my dad out of town at the time. And I had never been hit on by anyone in public. We might have talked about this, but the first time I got hit on by a woman was that moment. Like, hey, my friend thinks you're cute. She wants to know if she can have your number. I'm like, I'm engaged. And it was so awkward because, like, my dad was already uncomfortable. It's like the moment could not have gotten more uncomfortable. I remember texting like, oh my God, this is so terrible. No, we were at Buffalo Wild Wings. That's when we used to eat at Buffalo Wild Wings, before Bubba's was a thing. And oh my God. My dad just ate. My dad, when he gets uncomfortable, just eats. So, especially for eating food, we were at a meal. He just like kept stuffing his face. Like he didn't know what to say. He was uncomfortable. Anyway, so yeah, we went to New York, got married. My mom was there, my stepdad, my two brothers, and my sister. Your mom didn't go.
No, my mom, which... It's sad, and she probably regrets it now. Because
I don't remember. She just didn't.
She said she couldn't get off.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't remember. It feels like it's been a long time since that day. And then your sister, one of your sisters, was going to go. Your cousin, who also happens to be my stepsister, and then our best gay guy friends, Matt and Tino, Junior, and Angelica, your cousin, who's also
like my sister.
Yeah. And who we lived with when we met. You lived with her when we met, and we lived with her for a while. Anyways, that was who went. And your sister and Tina didn't even make it.
Yeah.
Because it was the craziest winter storm
here in Amarillo. Was crazy.
From Amarillo to Dallas.
Well, we left 2 days before everyone.
Yeah, we left on a Thursday night. Because we had to get, or was it a Friday? I don't know. It was a Thursday. Because we had to get there and be there Friday to go to the courthouse to get our marriage license. So we had to fly to New York because when we got married 8 years ago, it was not legal. Very many places. I remember.
Yes, a few places.
Our two options. I don't even think it was legal in California at that time. Like they had knocked it back down and it still wasn't legal again. I think our two options that we had was New Mexico and New York, and I did not want to go get married in New Mexico. So we chose New York City. And so we drove down a day early, and from Amarillo to Dallas was like, we beat the storm, but then the storm started by the time everyone else who was coming the next day was driving, and like the road, they took them forever to get there because the roads were crazy slick.
Yeah.
We got there. Our luggage was lost, so we have to get to our hotel. We fly into New York, LaGuardia or whatever it's called. We stayed in Long Island, I think, which was just like across the bridge, not too far from where we were getting married. And we didn't get our luggage till like 2 a.m. I remember we
had nothing.
Oh, nothing. We had our Uggs because we wore those there, and like the clothes we had on. And traveling all day, you feel dirty.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything. And I remember panicking because everyone back home who was supposed to be coming was already getting worried that they weren't even going to make it to Dallas to fly to New York. And they had our wedding dresses.
Yes.
So we didn't have our toothbrushes. We didn't have our clothes. And our wedding dresses were possibly not going to make it. I was ready to call off the wedding. I was like, I remember breaking down because we went to go see like an off-Broadway play that night. And I was like, if our clothes don't get here, I'm not getting married in this outfit. Like, I'm not doing it with nobody here. I was so scared. Poor thing. Anyways, yeah, eventually we got our luggage at like 2 a.m. Everyone did make it except for your sister and Tina because they flew out a different time or a different airport, and they got stuck in Denver because the storm was just so crazy and didn't make it till like after our wedding the next day.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They were so bummed. Yeah. And then we got married at noon in Central Park at Belvedere Castle. Maddie and her group of people were getting ready in her room or in a different room.
The cool group.
The fun group. One of my brothers was in that group, the fun brother. And then me and my mom and my sister and my other brother were in my room getting ready. And I had booked 2 cabs, one for them, one for us. Theirs was supposed to leave like 10 minutes after us. And I have on video, he said, we're supposed to be leaving in 10 minutes. And they were still in their sweats. Like they were not even dressed. It was like...
I was getting my makeup and hair done.
And pressed on nails and all the things. So one thing I've learned in 8 years of marriage is Maddie still isn't on time to most things for me. It's cute. I've gotten used to it though. You're really good, actually. I'll take that back because you have been getting on time to church early. Yeah,
that's been forever. Church.
No, I'm not saying you're late to church. You've been getting there early. You know what I mean? Anyways, all this to say, Maddie and them missed their cab that I had called. The cab left. They had to call a new cab. And our photographer
we almost didn't find a cab.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah. And I was panicking and stressed out because I knew that our wedding was supposed to start at 12. I had called my dad that morning, asked him to help pay for the photographer because he wasn't there. I was like, Dad, can you at least pay for this? Y'all paid a lot of money. I put in the guilt card and everything. Y'all paid a lot of money for my sister's wedding. I'm asking for a photographer because we paid for all of our stuff. I think Mom paid for the wedding. I don't remember. I think she did. But we paid for like our flights and our hotels and stuff. So my dad paid for a photographer and it was like $600 for 1 hour. And people who run their businesses, right, they give you 1 hour. And she gave us 1 hour and Maddie was late to our wedding. So while we're waiting, I got pictures with my sister, my brother, not both my brothers, one of my brothers, because the other brother was in a party bus. And I remember after when we got our pictures back, finally, Maddie's like, why didn't I get any of myself? I said, because you were late. We had our photographer for 1 hour. That's why.
You should have booked her 30 minutes after.
Well, even our wedding planner and our...
I know, babe.
The whole thing, because we had to use a wedding planner.
We missed the cab. That's what happened.
Maddie missed the cab.
Yes.
They had a great
We were trying to go down. And there was like 6 of us, and we were late.
They were drinking
We told him we were coming to wait, and he bailed.
He had money to make.
Yeah. So I blame that guy.
Yeah.
Because I was ready.
Yeah, and then someone lost their phone in the cab, in that party cab.
Yes.
I called the party cab because they were drinking more drinks than we were drinking.
Oh, yeah,
They had way more fun. Definitely. Anyway, so we got married in Central Park. It was freezing that day.
Yes.
Freezing.
We had Uggs on under our dress.
Mm-hmm. Those are only smart decisions.
Was there snow? There was snow, right?
It snowed the next day. It like rain snowed. It was cold. It was cold. And it was nice the day before. It was just like a crazy really nice weekend. And then we went and ate at the Boathouse. That's in 27 Dresses that she wants to get married at. You've seen 27 Dresses. That's where we had lunch.
I let Leticia pick everything for the wedding.
Mom found that.
No, I'm saying you wanted
New York.
You wanted it in December. You wanted it because you always wanted to see the lights.
I always wanted to see that is the main reason
Yes.
behind why I chose New York City. I had always wanted to see the tree in New York.
Which was very,
It
very
made
pretty.
me cry.
Yeah.
Like, I was embarrassed that, I mean, Home Alone 2 is like my favorite movie, especially my favorite Christmas movie. So I always wanted to go see that tree. And when I saw it, I like literally had tears in my eyes. And I was kind of laughing at myself because I was like, what is wrong with me? But it was just so beautiful, and it was like bucket list, and we were there. So, yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So
But-
with me, it would have been somewhere
Warm.
warm.
Monty doesn't like the cold. It's not that I like the cold.
The beach somewhere.
Yeah. Some beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ate at the boathouse.
Our tenure.
Yeah, maybe. Ate at the boathouse. And then we had to get a cab back to our hotels to go change and everything. And our friends, like half of the group, caught a cab. And they took it instead of telling us to take it. You know, the two in the wedding dresses.
Yeah.
And my mom
The seniors.
and
It-
my
it
sister or
was-
something.
No,
It was like-
Rudy, me, you,
yeah, my stepdad, my mom, my sister, and us.
and us. Yes. Everyone
And
else
everyone else got in that cab.
left
And
us.
they're like, oh, you'll find another one. It'll be real quick. We did not find another cab.
We had to walk.
This was before
4
Uber
miles.
was like a
Yeah.
thing, too. So you could just pull out your
It
phone
was
and
just
be
the
like,
black,
here I
the
am.
little black cars, whatever they were. Like,
Randomly. Yeah.
yeah.
And so we walked blocks and blocks
And blocks.
to find a subway
And then we went to the
station.
subway.
And then the one we found
Blocks.
was not in service. So then we had to like come back up the stairs, go
No, it
find
was
another
horrible.
one. We were so worn out by the time we got back to the hotel.
Yeah. By the time they were taking a nap.
I know, they were all ready to go. We're like, we have been walking miles trying to figure out how to get back.
Assholes.
Yeah. My poor mom had her like, she wears like little booties. And she
Poor thing.
she was like, by the time we had been walking for a while, she was all walking like her feet were on fire. And Monty switched her shoes because she couldn't handle
Oh my God.
seeing
she's-
the pain my mom was in.
Yeah,
She was barely moving her feet. It was so that we still
did
laugh
walk
about
forever,
that walk.
yeah.
When you're tired, we like walk like my mom in front of her, like the New York walk,
Yeah.
because it was rough. Yeah, and I wish we had better phones and like video back then, because it was really quite the adventure.
It was. The
Walking.
trolley from the wedding
Oh,
to
yeah. To somewhere playing in New York or whatever. That was fun. I don't remember how we got on that, how that happened.
to take us to the. I don't know, but it was fun.
Yeah, we walked through Central Park in our dresses with everyone from where we got married to the boathouse. So we
Yeah.
have like pictures of us in the field or like just in the grass,
grass.
really. It wasn't really a field, just grass. But it was fun. And it was quite an adventure getting there and all the things. My mom was really sweet. She had like a cake made for us, and
Yes.
it was fun. It was a good adventure. And then your sister finally made it, and we got to go explore more.
The next day.
Yeah. A great adventure in New York City. So, 8 years of marriage. When we got married, we didn't have anyone. This is kind of why I was like, let's make this. We didn't have anyone to really look up to that's like, yes, that's like the marriage that we're after. That's like who we want to be.
I didn't
like.
even know anybody that was legally married.
Mm-mm. But wasn't really legal anywhere yet. I knew one person, my friend's sister, who had gotten married in California before they like put it down again.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the only person I knew, and it wasn't for very long. That they had just been married, not that long before. But yeah, I didn't know anyone. There's no, if you're a Christian, you know, like, and you're getting married, you usually go to like pre-counseling. You do all the things, all the Christian-y things. You have like pre-counseling, and you read the 5 love languages, and you read all the books about strong marriages, and there's none for 2 women. And I tried to read some of those other ones, but I'm just so like the thought of being submissive to someone and the way people have used that scripture and describing marriage just always irritated the crap out of me. Like, submissive. I still don't do well with that. Submit, woman. I didn't do well with it to my parents. I still don't do well. But I'd say something I've learned as far as how that goes, like the idea behind submit to your husbands and whatever, is like, if we get irritated with each other, we have a fight, whatever. Usually they're dumb fights. I'm not going to not make you a cup of coffee because we got in a fight or you made me mad or you hurt my feelings. Like, I'm still going to do it. Like, I might not make you a cup of coffee because I'm sleepy and I'm not awake, but it's not going to be because we got in a fight.
No, you're really good at that.
Because that, to me, is like when it says, like, love your bride as Christ loves the church. Well, like, the Lord forgives me for everything, all of my shortcomings. And that's how I'm supposed to love you. Like, yeah, you irritated me and I'm still mad at you or I'm still whatever, but I'm still going to love you well and make this, like, help you or make breakfast or, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's something that has always been important to me. Just because we're in a fight doesn't mean I'm not going to do the thing that I would if I wasn't mad at you. I'm just still going to do it. You're going to get in fights. You're going to have disagreements. For sure. Mm-hmm. Almost every day. We're two, like I've said before, we're two people raised by different people. Mm-hmm. We're raised totally different. You are
we didn't even really know each other.
We didn't know each other when we got married. And we were very wounded from our relationship. Like, I had barely been out of whatever crazy
how did we make it 8 years?
It's insane. We were so broken when we met each other. But it is a shock that we made it because the first few years were hard. I think because we were still healing. Mm-hmm. And trying to heal when you're starting a marriage is, I don't advise it. It's hard on the other person because you take out your pain and your trauma on your spouse. Like, I've learned a lot of my triggers that Madi will set off have nothing to do with what Madi has just done, but they're wounds that I haven't dealt with. And what she said or what she did reminded me of that trauma. And then I lash out. And then the same for you. And that was something I've learned over the last 8 years. It's just like, usually if I'll just take a breath and think about what you said and how it's making me feel, I'll realize, like, what you did you didn't really hurt me. You poked my wound that someone else caused that I haven't dealt with. Mm-hmm. And nobody taught us that. We kind of had to learn that because we didn't have, for the first 2.5, 3 years of our marriage, we didn't have a pastor who loved us. We didn't have a pastor, period, but we didn't have one that loved us and cared about our relationship and cared about our marriage until we went to more and we had Daryl. Who did offer, if we ever needed it, that him and his wife would counsel us. And that meant a lot. Mm-hmm. That he's like, it might not be the same, but we'll do the best we can. There are differences. But even for me, thinking about Apollo, we're raising a son and we're raising a daughter. And I don't know if they're going to be married to the same sex or opposite sex. But I'm teaching them there's no gender norms and gender stereotypes in our house. We've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. And so in a marriage, it shouldn't be this, well, I'm the one who works and I'm the man, and Madi's the one who works. Like, no, we are partners in this. We own this home together. We brought I didn't bring Maya into the world, but I adopted her. We brought Apollo into the world together. These are not just my responsibility because I have a job or I have to stay home. They're our responsibility. Like, I cook, you clean, or we clean together. Like, and that's how I think it should be in a marriage. You're not babysitting the kids when I go somewhere. You're taking care of your own kids. Mm-hmm. And that's something I think I've seen more and more vocalized on social media lately, is that, like, when the wife goes to do something, the dad is not babysitting his kids. Those are his kids. He's not a babysitter. He's a dad. They're his children too. He's taking care of his own responsibility. You made them together. And
it's important
to share the
be a
load.
team.
Yeah. And I've been in
and it's hard.
Really hard season because I know you're tired.
I'm tired to get off work, but the kids need my attention, and you need a break. And
you've been really
still
good the past
clean up and
3 weeks. I will give my wife major props. The past few weeks, we've talked about depression a lot on this podcast. I struggle with depression. I'm very in touch with my emotions, and when I can feel like this is not right, whatever's happening is bad, and this isn't normal. This isn't my normal for me. And a few weeks ago, I went through that where it was like very bad depression, very bad thoughts that were not good for me, harmful thoughts. And me and Monty have she's walked this road with me very closely, and I know I can trust her with those feelings, and I know to tell her them right away. Like, I'm not doing well. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. I don't know how I'm going to make it through this. And I think that's important in marriage. Very important.
And I said, go stay with your mom.
Pat, I'm sending her back. And my mom said, no take backs. She did say that at the wedding.
She did tell me that.
No take backs. But Monty, like, when I got done with worship that Sunday, usually I'll do worship on Sundays, and I'm up. I only have to take care of myself in the morning because I'm going to church earlier and waking up before everyone. I don't have to take care of anyone for 5 hours. And that's a big relief to me because I just have to worry about myself. But that Sunday, you were like, just go home, take a nap. Don't worry about it. And I didn't have to spend time with any kids till 5 o'clock that evening, which was hard for me because I know that that's my only day with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, but I want to see you. But you're like, no, you need a break. Mm-hmm. And I knew you were right.
I made you.
And then you did it a couple more times. Like, we had family in town for Thanksgiving, and I was like, that's when it started getting really bad, was around Thanksgiving. And you like would want to go hang out with family. Like, is it okay if I just stay here? I'll keep Apollo. I need to be alone. Like, I was just so worn out and so sad. And I did figure out, and I think this is important, if you struggle with depression, I'm very in tune with what happens to my body when I eat something I shouldn't eat and how it makes me feel. It's something I've had to do since we cut out gluten. But I did take a new allergy medicine that week, and I took it for like 5 days. And then I went into like that super downward spiral of depression. And I stopped taking the medicine because it was making me have dry mouth and it was bothering me. But then, like 5 days after I had stopped taking it, I realized that I wasn't as depressed as I had been. And so I'm pretty sure it was the medicine that affected me so badly and put me into that very unhealthy mindset, like where I don't want to go, almost like how I felt when I got off antidepressants. Like, it made me very suicidal. And I can't take Benadryl because the next day I feel depressed. And so I don't know if they have a common ingredient. I can't take Mucinex because it makes me feel super dizzy and drunk. So when I have my allergy season, like y'all heard me a couple weeks ago, and I'm like super congested, I have to be really careful about what I take because it obviously put me into a downward spiral. But in 8 years, I know Madi's done such an amazing job of reading me and learning how to support me better and taking the kids away so I can survive through what I'm going through. And, you know, we all sometimes need a break from each other. So I really am appreciative that you did that. Funny things I've learned in 8 years of marriage. Are there anything you've learned in 8 years? Like that you're like, that you want to talk about?
No.
No?
How about you?
Yeah, just things that you've learned. I mean, this is the longest relationship I've ever been in. I mean, I learned a lot. I don't know. I kind of talked about it like, Glenn and Doyle and Abby talking about on their podcast, just about like in all your relationships and like saying the one, like you're the only common denominator in all those relationships. So it's not like, oh, they weren't right for me. It's like, what did I do wrong to hurt that relationship? And so many times when we fight, it's like, I learned to reflect now as I feel like I'm more of a grown up is what did I do that I could have done differently? Sometimes just being quiet and not arguing is the best decision.
Yeah.
That's my best advice.
That's it though, because I'm quiet and you're like,
that was our son.
Hello, Apollo.
Mm-hmm. No, you're opposite. Monty shuts down and I want to talk right away. And that's just how we were raised.
Not raised, it's just my personality.
Yeah.
You're a talker.
Personalities. Yeah.
You want to
So
talk
is Apollo.
everything out.
Sorry.
Me and Maya are a lot. Like,
Maya
just
shuts down.
Quiet.
But, and that's the thing too, is I had to learn, I even thought about this the other night.
But you did make me learn to speak and talk about my feelings a lot more.
Yeah, because
so
if
we
you'll
communicate.
If you'll tell me.
We learn each other's language, love language.
Monty's is.
How to.
I would say yours is physical touch. And I'm kind of thinking words of affirmation because I know that's something that you've been saying has bothered you at work because that your new boss isn't as affirming of like, hey, good job.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you do actually thrive on that. It might be like your second love language.
Uh-huh.
Mine is words of affirmation and quality time for sure. I want your full attention.
Sure.
I get really irritated if I'm talking and she's looking at her phone. Like I'm just like, I am here. Put it down. Facebook did not miss you like I missed you. But I know also that you've been at work all day and you haven't had anything to like just kind of like relax. And sometimes me and the kids are not. Most times we are not going to be that relaxing thing for you because we all three missed you. But I did think about the other night that half the time when you shut down, like I get offended because words of affirmation are very important to me. Like I want to be told thank you 700 times. I want you to tell me I did a good job on the video I edited. Like I don't know why. I want to be, because in my head, I'm the opposite. Mm-hmm. I'm telling myself I'm not good enough. You did a bad job.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And so I want to hear that from you. And so when you get quiet, it's the opposite of what I need. So it makes me feel unloved. Even though you're probably just processing stuff and I process out loud and you process internally.
Yeah.
But I think if you can learn that about your person, that's really important. Because then I don't take as much offense because I'm just like, she's just quiet. She's takes a minute.
And it does take time and it's an everyday thing.
Mm-hmm. And it depends on how empty our tanks are. Like if I'm run down and you're run down, I'm more likely to pick a fight about something so stupid. And also we've had a kid the whole marriage. So one other thing, like if you have kids, especially, or if you're just having kids and they're at that age, like toddler age, I'd say. I've had to learn that when Monty comes home from lunch, they want her attention and I want her attention. Sometimes, like, I'll be talking and Amaya interrupts. And, like, the other day, I just walked away and I just, like, went to my room and you thought I was pissed. And, like, I am irritated because I want your attention, but I also know she wants your attention and I don't feel like fighting for it. I'm just going to let her have it right now. I'll have it later. Because she needs your attention. Mm-hmm. As two women, one thing I've learned, we're different about how we take care of our things, right? And this might not be something you want me to say, so I'm not trying to upset you.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things, though, and like I probably started doing this like a year ago, instead of getting in a fight about it, I will just buy 2 of like certain makeup items that I like because you kept taking them to work. And then the 5 times a year I will wear makeup anyways. I would be upset. And It was a fight. So then I made my own makeup section. Mostly it's like brow pencil
Mostly it's
mascara
only.
and eyelash curler. I want to have my own, and I do not want it to disappear, and I want it to stay where it is. You don't take it to work anymore. You actually get ready at home now. So now it's not even an issue, but yeah, I would say if you're two women, don't fight over it. Just buy two. It's not worth the fight. It's really not. I just was like, I'm just going to buy my own. I told him I'm just going to get my own makeup.
You're just a brat with your things.
I'm very particular about how I take care of my stuff.
You still, even though you have two, you still hide your stuff.
I hide mine because we bought this new brow pencil and Madi used it, and I could tell the moment Madi used it because it was all bent funny to me, and it bothered the crap out of me because it was like the way the pencil was. It like was felt or something, and it was bent, and then it wasn't working.
Had to have been my fault.
Yeah, because I definitely did. Anyway, so I bought two this time.
You probably
of that
smushed it in the blend or something.
And I hid mine. I also got a lighter color because my eyebrows are a little lighter than yours, and they really didn't have that many options this time. But yeah, I hid mine from you. I know you know where it is, but it's too light for eyebrows.
No, you're like that. You hide your things. You hide your candies. You hide your. You hide a lot of things. So you're not a sharer.
I'm not, and that's weird because I grew up with 3 siblings, but I do not like to share. Mm-hmm. Even like if I see her wearing my necklace, I'm like, don't say anything. Just be quiet. Just be,
you learned that because you're like,
it used to be a fight.
Horrible.
Used to be a fight all the time. She doesn't want to wear my clothes.
Every now and then I'll put something on. I'm like, let me see her face. Just to see it. And you look at it and you're like,
I just walk away. I was so mad inside. I'm like, why is she wearing my clothes or my ring or my whatever? I was so mad. But I wear all of your stuff.
My brand new stuff, name tags. And I'm like, okay, I don't care. Totally opposite.
You're nicer than me. I do. I'm very particular. I don't know. I was that way with like my DVDs. I still am, or my CDs. Because people don't take care of your stuff the way you take care of your stuff. And I actually really do take care of my things. And I'm very particular. I mean, the kids broke my freaking like kitchen tongs today. And I was so pissed. I'm like, Leticia, it's literally $5. It's not that big a deal. Go buy a new set. But it just bothered me because I just bought it and I kept forgetting to buy a new one. And I finally bought a new one, and it's lasted since Thanksgiving. It's broken. I'm like, seriously. I want to there's these like magnet things I'm going to put on the bus for the cabinets so they don't open when you're driving. I'm going to put them on all the damn cabinets. You can't open the cabinets unless you have the magnet key because I'm tired of people opening stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I just get so annoyed. Anyways, that was a whole other thing. But buy 2 eyebrow things. It's just not worth the fight. And just if your wife wears your stuff and you don't like her to wear your stuff, just walk away and smile and you'll survive it. It's not that big a deal. I've gotten better, I think. No, I haven't. Probably not, actually. Yeah.
No, you don't really.
I don't start a fight about it.
No.
You could tell on my face
you still 100%.
that it bothered her. It's not worth it to hurt her feelings and piss her off. Because I used to be mean about it. I used to be a jerk about it.
Yeah, I know.
Now I'm just admitting this. Like, we've come a long way. Also, 8 years of marriage. As we said, my dad would choose Madi over me in a heartbeat. Your dad has lived with us a couple times this year. He calls me for any and everything that needs to be fixed. Because he knows I can figure it out. Yeah. Me and her dad have
a relationship.
If Monty doesn't answer his phone, he's going to call me.
Mm-hmm.
That's so to say, if you're in that season where it's like, nothing's going to get better. Like it does. Loving people is the only way to change people's hearts.
The only way. I was just about to say that, honey.
It's the only way. Being your kindest, truest self and not stooping down to this like,
hateful.
They're hurting me, so I'm going to be mean. Yeah. That's not going to change or win anyone's heart. Evangelicals are like Christians like that. The way of trying to win people to Jesus. I'm like, you're doing it wrong. Just love people, and they'll see Jesus through you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go and preach about Jesus or you're going to hell for this. And I'm guilty of it. I did it back in the day. just be kind, be Jesus to people. And Jesus was loving and accepting, and yeah, I mean, that's the only way to live. We can live hateful, but nothing will change.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to my mom's podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and give this video a big thumbs up. Also, thanks for your comments and your feedback. Hey guys, thanks. Hey guys, thanks for listening to my podcast. Oh gosh.